Hey guys, hope everybody is doing well. It's just, as you can see, it's just me, Captain Tim slash Mr. Tim, and today we'll be touching on we'll be touching on some subjects. And so I'm just moving my face on over here, and we'll figure it out as we go along. So the first things I'm gonna say is, please make godly decisions. Sincerely consider your lifetime goals, overcome difficulties, and find your niche. Why did I do it like that? Because there's different ways to learn, and this is one of the very basic ways to learn, creating an acronym. But at the same time, I didn't just make an acronym, I made it say something that means something to me that will help me to remember it. But really, what I'm remembering is something that's totally different from what I said just now. I said, please make godly decisions, sincerely consider your lifetime goals, overcome difficulties, and find your niche. But really, we're talking about something totally different. The first thing we're going to write here is peer pressure. Next, we're going to put mindset. Then we're going to put get there itis. We're going to put next in line stuck under syndrome. Not writing that whole thing up because it'll be not enough room. Next thing, scud running. So really what I did was I created this and it gave me triggers to help me to remember all of the other topics, and you should know what these are by now. These are operational pitfalls. This is continued flight from VFR to IFR. And I'm doing this writing is not the neatest, but I just wanted to show you guys the tactic to remember, and I also wanted to show you guys that I was actually doing it on the fly. Bang, you get the point. So I'm just going to speed this up until the end because it's taking way too long.
Yeah, you see, yeah, you see, yeah, you see.
We're gonna start to weave in tips for learning to help you guys to grasp a lot of these subjects better. But we're gonna switch it up, and we're gonna give you some examples and break down each one of these topics. Stand by. All right, guys, we're going to hustle our way through these operational pitfalls. Pilot Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge, Chapter 2, page 2 22, figure 215. And I might warn you, these visuals are going to have more relevance to popular culture and my life growing up than they might have to the subject in some cases. But hey, this is my presentation. You guys got to do your own presentations. All right, so you have peer pressure. You know, on movies and shows, you always see these cliques of students and people hanging out together, and they always have influence over each other, and it can be a bad thing. Yeah, that happens in aviation as well. Mindset. With mindset, just think about just delusion. Just somebody that's being delusional, saying to themselves, like, everything's okay, everything's fine. No, everything's not okay, everything's not fine. Get their itis. We are talking about type A, most likely individuals, most often in aviation, goal oriented, mission oriented people that want to get the job done and they want to succeed. And sometimes that desire to get things complete can hurt you if you're in a flight where really and truly you need not to continue, you need not to go. Duck under syndrome is pilots approaching an airport and dipping below their minimums, having this feeling like they have a extra sense of security or an extra redundancy factor, a fudge factor, so to speak. Scud running, that's where pilots try to maintain visual reference to the terrain at low altitudes, and they're just searching to stay in contact with the terrain, and a lot of times end up going lower and lower and lower and into destruction. It's possible. Continuing flight, visual flight from VFR into instrument conditions. You're lulled your way from VFR into IFR bit by bit by bit. I've actually experienced a lot of these things. This one in particular, where we picked up IFR en route. I think that was like during the commercial phase. We decided to just pick up IFR clearance en route. Getting behind the aircraft. You think about chess, For those that don't play chess, you think about, like myself, you think about checkers or maybe even Connect Four. Okay. So you think about any game with strategy, whatever your choice is, you should be a few moves ahead. You should be able to anticipate what's coming. When you get to the point to where you're reacting, you're going to be surprised about everything and you're going to be behind the aircraft, and that's not the place to be. Loss of situational awareness. Your perception of where you are in space, what you're doing, what's coming next. I mean, every aspect of what's going on with the aircraft, the way it's performing, your altitude, your speed, your proximity from other aircraft, from obstacles, from the airport, every different aspect of where you are, knowing exactly where you are, and having a loss of that is horrible. It touches a lot of different things. Loss of SA, that's not something you want to have. Nope. Operating without adequate fuel reserves, 91.151 says you shouldn't even start a flight unless you have the right amount of fuel, which will take you from your departure to your destination or intended point of landing, and to continue at normal cruise for 30 minutes in the day and 45 minutes in the night. People that is taking off and just winging it. That's not cool. That's not the thing to do.
No, sir.
Descent below that minimum en route altitude. You see it on the screen. It's just the lowest altitude that's going to give you acceptable navigational signal, communication, and obstacle clearance. You shouldn't dip below your minimum en route altitude, because I mean, as they say, you make yourself a test pilot. And now, flying outside the envelope of the aircraft, it really has to do with the VG diagram and operating within the correct area that your aircraft can perform in, and not inside the caution zone, and not inside a zone where you could cause structural damage or any damage to the aircraft. Really not thinking your aircraft has all of this power and overdoing it like some people might do. And neglect of flight planning, pre-flight inspections, and checklists. Sometimes that can happen to people that are flying the same area over and over again, and they get so comfortable with the same routine, they take it for granted, and that's when bad stuff can happen. All right, guys, you all hear the song. It's a classic one. Get involved, get involved. That one is directed towards anybody and everybody in the group. You got students marching their way towards getting the license. Everybody should be getting involved.